Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replay. It's been a while, huh? Yeah, it's been ages. It's been absolutely ages. So this one was sent by Sarmatian, and it's a cracking one. You can see things are already firing, because it's High Elves versus a massive Goblin force. So Sarmatian's playing as the High Elves, and he's going to have his work cut out for him, because, yeah, the High Elves can get very, very quickly divided and surrounded by a ton of Night Goblins and things. But here you can see he has 2 Silver Hounds on that side, 2 over here. He's got some white lines with some extra armour in the back. 3 lots of archers. He's got some eagle claw bolt throwers here, which will be very useful for anything big that might turn up. They're very handy. Things like Ragnarok spiders can be very good against the High Elves, so it's nice to have something that can just keep whittling away at their health there. But also that scatter shot is very good for killing a lot of the low armoured goblins, getting some good damage in there. Also, plenty of spearmen in the front, obviously great against all the missiles, and he actually has a Lithanar, which is awesome. You never see a Lithanar, so it's great to see him in action here. And against goblins, like, he isn't the toughest guy in melee, but he doesn't need any armor piercing or anything, and that missile damage is great for whittling down any spellcasters or lords, so very nice there. Now his opponent, oh, he does have a Lawmaster Hoeth as well, so that's his mage, which is brilliant, can't get sniped out real easy, like other mages can, especially things like Effigy, the Git, and Smoke Bombs in play. It's very easy to catch out a spellcaster when, you know, when you're up against a Greenskin, so here you want to have someone a bit sturdier, so that Spirit Leech will be very useful, and the Earthblood will keep people in the fight. So over here you can see Silver Hounds are already starting to charge in to get into all these units, keep them off of the spearmen for as long as possible. Really helps. So this initial engagement, you can see Night Goblins and Nasty Skulkers are both super injured. Also, he's got more Nasty Skulkers over here, more Night Goblins. There's a ton of Night Goblin archers, including the Rusty Arrows, and these guys all have poison, which will be good for slowing things down. All the Smoke Bombs, also excellent for slowing things down. And these Night Goblins, especially with the War, can tear through spearmen pretty quickly, but they are very, very flimsy. Even with those silver shields, they can take quite a lot of damage from archer fire, because they just don't have the armor to withstand it. So, yeah, very, very, very flimsy, but there's millions of them. Also back here you see a Night Goblin Shaman, so he'll be very useful. He's got Vindictive Glare for sniping things out, as well as Itchy Nuisance, and also it's Gaze of Mork, I think, and Sneaky... No, not Gaze... What is it? Hang on. It's the thing. What's it called? Gork'll Fix It. That, yeah. I knew it was one of the Greenskin gods involved. So yeah, Gork'll Fix It. Great for slowing things down again. Very, very handy. Good to sort of get rid of that cavalry play. Also he has Sneaky Stabbing for the extra melee attack and armor piercing. Oh, and back here, Mogrov's Mangy Marauders and the Death Creepers, so some good harass over here too. So, speeding things up, you can see some cavalry have run in over here, but Nasty Skulkers weren't able to smoke bomb them, so they are escaping, but more units are trying to get in round the back. That War has been procced, and that will start tearing through a lot of these units. Way in the back, these Silver Helms are sort of secluded, but if they can get into these archers, they can do a lot of initial damage. But the main thing is it stops them firing. That's why using the cav like this is absolute genius, because they will take a lot of damage, but if you can stop them firing, you can start winning that front line and keeping your own back line safe. So these archers can keep getting value, while the enemy archers cannot. So that's very nicely played. Also the White Line Straits coming in here, and with their brilliant armour, they will withstand a lot. But it is getting sundered, because of course the Warlords boys do have armour sundering, which is something that never seems to get advertised. They're very good fighters, but they also have that armour sundering, so it helps out the other goblins. So a bit of a mosh pit going on here. Cavalry suffering a lot of damage, and oh, Moonbow getting blasted at Skarsnik, who's finally joined the party. There is Skarsnik here too, so he'll need to get into combat if he wants to get the War going again. So the archers are getting chased down a lot, but they're still getting a lot of shots coming in from things like Mogrov's Mangy Marauders on these Silver Helms, and the fact that there are just so many archers in the back, they are getting whittled down. But the front line seems to be going quite well. These Silver Helms have managed to get off pretty much scot-free. Some of the archers are getting chased down a bit, but these Night Goblins have always had it. Here, Teeth Robbers, they also came in round the flank, and they are doing pretty well to charge through the archers. They are great for disrupting the lines like that. They are very good at it. And now, Death Creepers are running in, but they are getting caught up on the White Line, so beautifully played by Sarmatian to intercept there. But it looks like his cav that have been getting into the back line are suffering, they are going down. But that is a lot of damage across the board to all of the archers, and it's not going to take many volleys from the High Elf archers to start breaking these guys, so that's very good. They are losing a few models, and that will limit their ability to do damage later, and it means that this whole side has collapsed for the goblins, and all of these units can start pushing the advantage and catching these guys out on their own, which is very well played. Just that one, well, 2 units disrupting the entire back line, it has bought the rest of the High Elves time to solidify this formation and make sure that units are being caught out and crushed, which is very, very nice to see. So it looks like a spell is about to go down. Oh, yep, here we go. And, yeah, not a bad hit. Skarsnik's Prodder. It's not the best missile in the world. It's not the best magic missile. But look at this. Night Goblins and Nasty Skulkers are working their way into the back. And that is a problem. That is the constant problem with fighting nothing but Night Goblins. They can keep finding ways in, because of course they do stalk. So here you can see Silver Helms are going to charge in to intercept. Beautiful interception there. They are suffering from a lot of missile fire. But these one-unit spearmen, they're keeping most of the army at bay right now. And that is super useful. Over here you can see the Night Goblins, they're the 8-peak loonies. For some reason it never gives them their name, I don't know why that is, but that's the 8-peak loonies. They're of course unbreakable, so they're going to sit and fight for a very long time. Very good to keep these guys busy, these spearmen and the Lawmaster Hoeth. Now Archer Fire is starting to come in, Nasty Skulkers are in here, but there's still a lot of White Lions safe that can deal with these guys, and the Bolt Throwers, you know, they're online, they're trying to shoot what they can. So over here, another Earth Blood, try and keep the Silver Helms in the fight. And now the Elithanar is taking some damage, but mostly it looks like the Lawmaster Hoeth is going to get focused down. And he is suffering horribly from all this. His armor has been sundered and everything else is firing at him. And he doesn't really have a shield. He does have, well, missile resistance. Says he has a shield. That's just because, you know, he's a Lawmaster Hoeth and he can deflect arrows with his sword, which is pretty awesome. But I don't think he can deflect all this many. He is suffering horribly here, and he's completely on his own. And that's the thing, Lawmaster Hoeth you want to keep in a formation, so that way he can't get picked off like this. So, beautiful hit on Skarsnik there from Elithanar with the Moonbow. Really, really nice to see him getting hurt. And here you can see the Tifa Robbers still causing a mischief, but Silver Helms are hot on their tail. And it needs to be the Silver Helms to deal with these guys. They can just run through anything all day, and luckily there are some Silver Helms left, but not many. Some units are starting to run, and these Tifa Robbers have been doing a wonderful job. Not a huge amount of kills, but it was all against fresh units. They have finally been broken, and more units are starting to return. Thank God for that. So, White Lions Trace, they're suffering huge amounts of damage, but the trees are making some ample cover. A lot of these arrows will be hitting the trees. It is something. You know, it is something. But sadly, with only 60 armor right now, yeah, it's not looking great for them. It's not looking great for them. They are suffering horribly. The Rusty Arrow is super useful here to help whittle down units like this. And you can see I think they're about to break. Oof. Yep, there they go. That is tough. But it's kept them busy, and now the back line is very much secure. Here it looks like another Prodder is coming in here, maybe? Any second now. Here it comes. Here it comes. Goes straight across, and yeah, it does actually kill a few. That's pretty painful. That is pretty painful. Ooh, Skarsnik's Prodder. Here, though, Lawmaster Hoeth is back. He is getting shot at by the more cosmetic marauders that are almost out of ammunition. He has managed to heal himself up. It keeps him in the fight longer, and that really helps. It means that maybe, if he can survive, he can get some more healing on something else. But he was the priority there. He was about to die, or at least break. So over here, you can see that the other spearmen have managed to get involved. They do have those silver shields, which is very handy, and they are absorbing a lot of arrow fire. And it's letting the other archers start shooting into all these Night Goblin archers, which is very, very nice to see. It's starting to do some good damage to them. And here, you can see Skarsnik and the Night Goblin Shaman are both super injured, but Lithanar's fine, and he's still got plenty of ammunition. He can snipe these two out pretty happily, I think. So here you can see more cosmetic marauders. They're just trying to charge in because, well, they're out of ammunition. They might as well get into these archers and stop them firing. It's the same thing the Silver Helms were doing. And now these Silver Helms are taking the brunt of a lot of arrow fire, so they're having to retreat. It's giving these goblins an in. It's letting them push in. Amazingly, these White Lions have managed to come back into the fight, which is pretty impressive. Elithanar shooting Skarsnik in the back. Very handy there. And more units are starting to come in, but the Silver Helms are on it. They're on it, which is brilliant. And now, this is a real mistake. This is a real mistake of the goblins. Being all in one place, they need to be spread out. They need to be spread out, because as it stands, anything with shields can just walk up and get shot by all of them, and that's fine. You know, you want to be in different formations, shoot things in the back, and you don't want to be a massive blob, because any of these arrows miss their target, they're going to hit something else. You know, they're going to hit one of the neighbours. This is too dense. And now the Eagle Bolt Thrower can get some serious value. Just smashing all of these units at once. That is brutal. And Elithanar's even firing it as well. He has great penetration on his Moonbow. He can do some serious work. So now you can see 26 kills, not a huge amount, but that's going to go up very quickly. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty good. And it does a lot of damage, a lot of splash damage, whittling these guys down. The archers starting to fire in. And because these guys are clumped up so much more than the High Elf archers that have much smaller model counts, they're suffering horribly. And now, Silver Helms are getting a charge in, and it's pretty much only archers left. And that is enough to start shattering everything. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful fight. So, Pyrrhic victory. So, yeah, main thing, Sarmatian held. He kept it together. You know, he kept his units together. See, 234 and 231. These are the two playing defense. Any time any Night Goblins were trying to get in around the back, he'd shut them down. He was just feeding the odd unit, you know, into that just horrible storm of arrows, just to keep him busy long enough to deal with all of the little peripheral units that were trying to sneak in. He kept it together. He kept the Silver Helms going from one unit to another to harass all of them. And that initial charge from the Greenskins didn't work out as well, because those 2 units of Silver Helms were pretty much sacrificed, you know, disrupting all that back line. But they got so much value just leaving the rest of the units to deal with what they wanted to deal with. You know, that can't be said enough. It's very easy to say 37 kills, they did rubbish, but they bought time. They bought so much time for the rest of the army to deal with the Night Goblins that were right in their face. And that proved super useful. It kept the archers online. You know, it kept the bolt thrower online. And these guys are integral to dealing with the enemy's back line. It worked out beautifully. Elithanar just did a ton of work to both Skarsnik and the Night Goblin Shaman. It meant Skarsnik could barely get into combat, so he couldn't just keep generating more wars to use, because he didn't really have much of a fight for long, you know? Just feeding one unit at a time. He would run in, you know, to support his archers, but he wouldn't be in combat long because the unit would break before too long. So, yeah, weirdly, just feeding the enemy units worked out beautifully here because they could get a lot more done. You know, they could get a lot more work done a lot quicker than the combined fire of all these archers could, which is really saying something. So yeah, absolutely wonderful fight. And I do love to see a Vanguard Gobbo army. It's always a huge amount of fun to see that being sprung. But yeah, Sarmatian kept it together, and that's what you got to do. You know, don't chase things off. Make sure you keep that solid line. Make sure you keep your guys together. And that's exactly what he did, because so many units could have been caught out. But no, he chose which units he wanted to be caught out, and that really helped him a lot. So yeah, absolutely superb. I mean, yeah, Lord Master Hoeth almost got killed horribly by arrow fire, which is a shame. But, I mean, he kept the enemy busy for a while at least, and he was able to stabilise, which I think was more luck on the part of Sarmatian than skill, because he could have easily have been finished off or chased down by Cav or something, because there were 3 units to do that. But Karazul here just neglected to deal with the Swordmaster thoroughly enough, and I think that did cost him a bit. Those odd little heals, it just kept some of these units going a little bit longer than Karazul would have wanted here. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. Love this game. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.